Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for a live reaction and live review and player ratings live stream of Chelsea 4, Juventus 0. Oh my days, what a day, what a night. Of course, one very happy eye, and then a slightly sadder eye because of Ben Chilwell's injury. You know, fingers crossed, that's nothing too serious. Give me just half a second to get everything sorted. Pys will also be joining us very, very soon. He's just going to make sure he catches the post-match reaction so he actually can tell us what was said post-game, which especially in Chilwell's case, but also I guess in N'Golo Kante's case, should and will be very, very useful. But oh my days, what a night. We absolutely annihilated them. From top to bottom, we just smacked them. We just absolutely smacked them. And I'm not saying like the first half was very similar, or at least to a certain point, was very similar to the first half of to the game away at Juventus. But at some point, we just turned it on, and oh my days, were we bloody good. And how beautiful is that to see and to say? And you can already see I am joined by two very special guests. Con just said he's going to be 2 minutes, so he's AFK at the moment. So let me start with Clutch. As always, thank you for joining us. How was that? Other than Ben Chilwell's injury, of course, we'll get to that in a bit. But that was beautiful, wasn't it?
Cheers, Laurenz. Always fun coming back. Yeah, it was really fun. I think that first half had me reliving that first game until we got that goal. And then I was like, okay, let's start keeping up the pattern. But, I mean, it's just a night and day difference from that first game. That first game, we were held back for most of the game after we got the initial possession. And now it was just like a night and day change. But I had a lot of fun watching that. Unfortunately, Chile and Kante, but like we said yesterday, why play Kante? But, you know, hey, I'm not going to sit here and gloat about that or say I told you so.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because, I mean, we think he picked up a knock and we presume so. But I mean, Pys, I was talking to Pys during the game and he told me he saw him holding his knee. Some other people on Twitter said, you know, he did his ankle got a bit like twisted when he tried to shoot or something. I haven't seen any of that. I have no idea whether he came off for injury, whether he came off for tactical reasons, because Kante, to be honest, didn't have a great first half, in my opinion. So that's also partly what I'm, you know, hoping Pys will be able to tell us, you know, once he joins, because, you know, hopefully he can let us know what the situation is about N'Golo Kante. One thing I have just realized, because Con doesn't use a camera, I was just going to say, how do I know whether he's back? He is back. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are also joined by Mr. ConnCFC, the legend himself. He's very close to 100K on Twitter, by the way. So, you know, check the link down in the description and follow him and get him to 100,000. That would be absolutely fantastic. Con, thank you for joining us, as always. How you doing? Because that was brilliant, wasn't it?
Bro, we're the best team in Europe. Simple as that. Best team in Europe, man. You can't talk to us, bro. Reece James, another level, bro. Like, that performance tonight and then against Leicester. He's, bro, incredible. Incredible player. Tonight, night and day from interim, bro. We're a different team now. You know, we had no Lukaku, we had no Werner for how long? Like, we still have no Kovacic, bro. And we bring on Loftus-Cheek for N'Golo, bro. And it makes us better. Like, Tuchel's a madman, bro. Like, he's too good. Bro, I'm gassed with this Chelsea team. Like, if you're not a Chelsea fan right now, I feel sorry for you because this is the best any football fan will feel in a long while. Trust me. I'm so happy, Lawrence.
Honestly, it's so good. Like I just said, I think you were not here yet at the time. The only sad, you know, obviously emotion we feel is because of Ben Chilwell, which can just hope that it's nothing too serious. But other than that, it literally could not be going any better. Like, I mean, I think even Jody Morris tweeted it. Like, when was the last time anyone, you know, toyed with Juventus like that? Like, that's not something that happens to Juve. And it's not like Juve tried to come at us and then they got exposed. They parked the bus and still got battered. Like, Bonucci, Delict, Szczesny even had their goalkeeper actually had a good game and still conceded 4. Like, do you know how mad that is? Like, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Honestly, I could not be happier. It's crazy. I mean, I can't even. I mean, I see like 3 different people already talking about like man of the match here. I mean, for me, this is very clearly Reece James, but the fact that people have different opinions on this shows how great we were, because it's not just one clear. I mean, in my opinion, it is one clear standout, but there are people that have a different opinion. So there were multiple very, very good players. So what more could you possibly be asking for? It's honestly brilliant. Clutch has just told us in this private chat here saying Tuchel has confirmed that Chilwell has a sharp pain in his knee and Kante also has a knee problem. There will be more of an update tomorrow. But that is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Obviously, in both cases, but as you know, Kante be arguably have better, replacements, I guess, or better options instead of him. But still, obviously, especially for big games, Kante is crucial. And then obviously that Chile one, that stings. If he has sharp pain, hopefully it's just, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, am I? But hopefully it's just no ligament damage, and then it's only a couple of weeks, few weeks, nothing, and we're not talking months. Then at least that would honestly be awful, because the fact that Aspi came on instead of him and not Alonso shows the problem we have if Chile is injured. But let's stick to more positive things. Clutch, you mentioned it there earlier about Kante in the lineup, but in general, did the lineup drastically surprise you? Because there was a few things in there which we weren't quite sure what they were going to be like, or what Thomas Tuchel is actually going to come with.
I was actually really surprised, considering you didn't see Christensen today, because I don't know why. That was really surprising. You seen Chalobah instead of Christensen. That was a really big surprise. I mean, it's still a surprise that Silva started today, being at his age, and he started 2 games within a span of 3 days. That was really surprising to me. The Kante thing, again, like we were saying yesterday, we were talking about, it's so risky to play him within multiple games like we did, and we got what we usually get out of Kante. But other than that, I think we put out probably the strongest lineup we could. We seen Ziyech and Pulisic come in as the false 9. And I did say yesterday, if Pulisic was going to be playing that false 9, that we needed Ziyech in there. And we pretty much got the lineup that we thought we would, except for I would have never guessed Chalobah, even though I'm in love with Chalobah and he did amazing today. It's a nice problem to have with how good Christensen has been this year, and now Chalobah kept him on the bench for 2 games in a row. It's actually crazy.
I'm muted. I did see someone in the chat saying fix audio, please. I hope audio is better now. I think it might have been some background noise from Con, but I could be wrong. If it's something from me, I don't know how to fix it because I don't hear anything that's wrong. So I hope everything's fine. But that is a fair point, what you say about the lineup, especially Chalobah. But we have just been joined by the man himself, Mr. CFCPys. Pys, thank you for joining us. How you doing? Are you as excited as all of us are? Because that was bloody brilliant.
Yeah, bro, I'm gassed. I just hope Chilwell's all right, bro. I'm really worried about that. Didn't look good, to be fair. Especially because it's been confirmed it's a knee injury. So, yeah, I'm just hoping it's not like an ACL or something. But, yeah, other than that, bro, brilliant night, honestly. 4-0, I believe it's Juventus' highest ever defeat in the Champions League, which is just crazy. Tuchel set a new English record of most clean sheets in his first 50 matches in charge of an English team. So, what more can you ask for? It just gets better and better every time we watch Chelsea play. It's crazy.
No, honestly, it is just crazy. How good we are, how many good players we have. Lukaku didn't even play today. We signed the guy for 100 million, and we're battering Juventus 4-0. We'll get into that discussion maybe at a later point, but. I saw someone tweet about Kai Havertz has a mountain to climb to get back into the side. Does Lukaku have a mountain to climb? Because the amount of goals we've scored in the period that he was injured in is insane. I'm not saying obviously he shouldn't play, but I'm saying, is he just straight back in the team once he's fully fit or not?
I think the thing is though, with Lukaku debate, to be fair, a lot of our goals are coming from defenders, man. Chilwell, not Chilwell, James, but Chilwell previously. Chalobah again with another goal tonight. So, yeah, obviously Hudson-Odoi scored, but he doesn't always score. So, yeah, I think Lukaku obviously will come back in because a lot of our defenders are scoring. But it's just nice to have a team that's so, non-reliant. You can't really predict who's going to score in a match day now. Literally just could be anyone. You know what I mean? Him, Christensen got a bloody goal the other week. It's just, you can't predict it.
No, honestly. Con, let me go back to you. When you think of the lineup, big shocks to you in there? The fact that Thiago Silva started again, for example, that Chalobah was in there, that Mason Mount didn't start, that Kante did start again, obviously, after we just played against Leicester. We know, obviously, his injury troubles every now and again. So any big shocks in there for you, or kind of what you expected?
To be honest, mate, no surprises at all. Thiago Silva was maybe is he playing again? Same with N'Golo, but Chalobah, how good he was and how good Thiago was, I can see why they started, man. That was absolutely fantastic against Leicester. And again, tonight, absolutely fantastic. And when you have a player like AC, don't get me wrong, I want to see him play more. But if Chalobah's playing like this, bro, I don't mind. AC can hit the bench for a bit, because Chalobah's on the next level right now.
No, exactly. I mean, because I saw Musi, sorry if I butchered your name, asking for a Chilwell update. The only thing we know is that he has a sharp pain in his knee, but obviously to know further, we'll need to wait for scans and see whether we get in for tomorrow or on Friday, I guess, the latest in the press conference. But honestly, like Con said there, the fact that Christensen didn't start again was very surprising to me. But at the same time, with the way we're playing, it's just how it goes, man. It's just how it goes when you ask for 3 years instead of 5 years of a contract, I guess. No, I'm joking, but you see what I mean? Like, we're just too good, man. We're just too good. I know, Pies, you were texting me and were like, the fact that Thiago Silva is starting again, was that the biggest shock for you, or was there any other shocks for you in the lineup?
Obviously not because of his quality. I was just surprised he started again in terms of the amount he's played. Like, that's 3 starts in 11 days. But, I mean, I'm not him, so I can't fully tell you, but he looks all right? Like, he looks pretty fit. And that clearance, by the way, was just, like, he deserves a 15 for that alone. Like what the fuck? How did he even, I was speechless. And I was shitting myself as well because he looked in a lot of pain, but thankfully he got up all right. So, but just another amazing performance. Even towards the end, I saw a ball which he did, like out to Reece James. I was like, how have you just passed that? Like, it's just his ball playing abilities probably on par with his defending, man. Like, it's just unreal. Like, even John Terry's putting out tweets. It's beautiful to see as well. Like, if we had those two in the same defense, we'd never concede a goal. So I'm just gutted we never got to see them play together, to be honest.
No, exactly. Thiago Silva is special. Like, as much as that moment, the whole clearance, he kind of caused it himself, but he made up for it. And, what clearance? Like, oh my days, the 37 years of age, sprinting like that, jumping, fly, clearing it. Is that word? I've made it one. Mental, absolutely mental, but it's crazy. I'm just getting the whole lineup thing up on screen so we can actually get going on the player ratings. But, wow, oh my days, 4-0. Against Juve. Like, I know they obviously had a few players missing, but so did we. And I know that obviously they're not in the greatest of form considering they're 8th in Serie A. But they have, obviously just had a really poor start. They did kind of sort themselves out a little bit. They won 2-0 against Lazio on the weekend. But we were bloody good today. Like, honestly, it's actually crazy. But let me get the share screen up so we can actually start talking about the lineup, or not the lineup, the player ratings. I haven't filled it yet. Give it a second, guys. I will just be done with that. One second. But why don't I go back to you, Clutch? When the game's, like, before the game, obviously we were talking yesterday, we were talking about, like, 2-0, this and that. Did you expect us to be this good? Or did you even think we could be that good? Or was it just the case we always know we can be that good? The question is just, will we? Especially in terms of taking chances.
I think your point of, if we take our chances, we can always be this good. I mean, how many times do we come in here and say, hey, this player missed a chance? I mean, Chope today could have had more goals than he did if he was a better finisher. But, I mean, if we play the way we're supposed to and we clean up the finishing, I mean, we can batter any team. And I mean any team. It's just, we don't take our chances 90% of the time, and this is what happens when we end up taking chances. We start beating teams like Juventus 4-0. Who did we beat a couple weeks ago? 4-0 or 7-0? Oh, Norwich. We just when we take our chances, we dominate games because we just don't concede. So everything else follows through when we take our chances, and today we did.
No, exactly. I could not agree more. Let's get into the player ratings. It's a tough one. Con, it's coming. I'm going to start with you on the goalkeeper because what do we say about Mendy? So I'm going to ask you, what do we say about Mendy? There was 1 or 2 saves he had to make in the second half, especially one shot from Weston McKennie. Obviously, by the time it was 3-0 already. But difficult to judge overall. Obviously, he got, not done is obviously the wrong word, but obviously Thiago Silva had to clear it up. But, good performance. A few good balls playing out from the back. Is getting better and better at that, which I'm a big fan of. But difficult to rate again, isn't it?
It's always the same discussion with Mendy, isn't it, Laurenz? It's always the same. I'd give him a 7, bro, because I think 6 would be if he didn't really do much because he had nothing to do. He did make that one good save from McKennie. And, the best keepers make them saves, even if they have nothing to do, you know. And Mendy's concentration is always there. So for me, give him a 7. And that's not. I know 7 looks a bit low, but if you are a regular on this channel, you probably heard me say this 1,000 times. So I'm gonna say it one more time. That it's not because he did bad. It's just because he didn't have a lot to do.
No, exactly. Exactly that. Exactly. And let me just quickly get to this comment here by Emil before I just react to what you said. Sorry, Con, because otherwise I'll forget the comment again. Why is this being slow? Is this the first time ever in the Champions League that we have kept a clean sheet against an Italian team, if I remember right? Might be, but it's the first time we've kept a clean sheet in 5 successive Champions League home games or something. It's mad. It's mad. And, I think one of you guys mentioned it because also someone put it in a private chat here. Thomas Tuchel literally broke the record of least goals conceded in the first 50 games in charge of an English side. Some of the records we're coming up with at the moment is ridiculous. And, Mauricio Pochettino, I hope so badly that he goes to Man United just so we can snap him up, honestly. Because the most overrated manager in the world. The man thinks we're in a defensive team. All right, when was the last time PSG scored 4 goals? Go on then. I actually think they did that recently against Leipzig. But that's Leipzig. They don't know how defenders to defend for the sake of their lives. Do you know what I mean? So it's mad. How can we be so good at the back and so good attacking? It's actually crazy how we can actually do this. But Con, I agree on the 7. So Pys, would you go along with a 7 for Mendy, or would you go with something different?
I mean, you could do it, to be fair. I just want to reiterate the point I said last week, though. Even though he didn't have much to do, the concentration was so there. For that save was a good save, but just the concentration all round was really, really good. I saw a couple of tweets on it from the journalists who were at the game. And also, the passing I thought was quite good tonight as well. Something that he's definitely improving on, and he's definitely good at. So, yeah, for all those people out there that say Mendy can't pass, rewatch the games, man, because he definitely can.
Oh, he definitely can. So what rating would you go with then? Would you like to go higher, 7.5 or 8 then?
I could go 7.5. I mean, to be fair, there's not much difference, so...
No.
Yeah.
Right. No, it's a tough one. Let's see what Clutch says, and then obviously we see where we end up with overall. Clutch, in terms of Mendy, would you go along with the 7? Would you like to go higher? It's like obviously Con said earlier, it's just a really difficult one. You win 4-0, your goalkeeper makes 1 or 2 saves. How do you actually rate the guy? Do you know what I mean?
Hey, I mean, 7's perfect. I mean, he didn't have much to do, which is what we want. He had 1 good save off of him and Thiago Silva's little miscommunication there when he went to go grab the ball and it kind of popped back out and allowed McKennie to get a good shot in. But, I mean, Mendy does what Mendy does, and he saves it when he needs to. That's all you can ask, so I'd go for a 7.
Fair enough. I will, just to react quickly to this comment here by Fantasy PGA Tour, first of all, big up yourself, saying, let's not forget Mendy got beat until Thiago cleared. I don't think you can put even the smallest amount of blame on Mendy, really, because it's we're going to praise Thiago Silva in a second, but it's actually Thiago that allows the chance for Morata, because Thiago expected the short pass to Morata, tries to step in front to intercept it, and all of a sudden the ball's chipped, and Morata is basically through on goal. And then, what's Mendy meant to do in that situation? So it's it's Thiago's fault, if anything. Maybe you could argue Chalobah, who didn't come out with Thiago, so Morata was onside, but how could Chalobah expect Thiago to step up like that? So it is, if anything, Thiago's fault, but he made up for it. So, in my opinion, absolutely nothing to do with Mendy. But hey, we have 3 7s here, so let's stick with the 7. And like you said, Pies, it's not a big difference anyway. Let's start, I was going to, try to find a segue. Not quite working. Let's get to the guy that for today made his full Champions League debut. His first time in the Champions League. And like I saw Pies tweet, I think at the halftime or whenever I saw you tweet that, not only has Trevoh Chalobah scored on his Premier League full debut, he's also scored on his full Champions League debut. What a guy. What start to the season that guy's having. Obviously he's from this country, but still, these are his first games at this level in the Premier League and now obviously in the Champions League as well. The amount of times we sign players, we're like, we need to give them time to adapt to the league, this and that. Chalobah, 22 years old, I'm not sure if he was 21 at the start of the season, comes in, he's never done anything else other than play Premier League and Champions League football. The guy is ridiculous. Honestly, the guy is insanely good. Another goal tonight, lovely finish as well. Didn't miss-hit it or anything. So, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Let me go with you first, Pice. How good was Chalobah, and how would you rate him, mate?
Very, very good. The goal was brilliant. I'll just say, like, every time he's in the team, like, I don't even flinch. I'm just like, yeah, Chalobah, cool, like, brilliant. Like, genuinely, like, I don't even flinch anymore. Like, I'm not worried. He's just superb. He's so calm on the ball. His defensive ability's there. And he can score goals. Like, what else do you want? He's quick. He's very, very quick. And, yeah, he just suits the system perfectly, to be honest. So, yeah, I love to see him play. There's been a few games recently where he hasn't played, but now he's back in the side. I'm glad to see him. And, yeah, played very, very good tonight. When I think of a rating, I'm probably going to give him a 9, to be honest. I think he deserves that. Potentially higher, but I'm going to start with a 9. I think it was an all-round brilliant performance.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I do agree. Before I react to that, I just saw Nizar Kinsella tweet. He asked a bit more info/feeling on Chilwell's injury, and Tuchel says he's both worried and hopeful about Chilwell's situation, adding in quotation marks, he feels a bit better. Chilwell, that is, of course. We hope for the best. Hopefully we get away with it. Fingers crossed. I mean, it's a positive sign that he feels a bit better. That is good, but obviously because if it was really bad, now that the adrenaline obviously is slowly fading off, he should be feeling worse. But again, I'm not a doctor. Every situation is different. So who knows? But hey, fingers crossed. And we can only be positive. We can only hope to be hopeful. Hope to be hopeful. Hope that it goes well, I guess. But did you say 9, yeah, Pies? Sorry if I was kind of...
Yeah, 9.
There you go. No, I fully back it. I fully back it. Let me go with you, Clutch, before we get to Con. Do you agree on the 9 for Chalobah? Because, I mean, not only did he score, but he was also defensively brilliant.
Yeah, I'd actually probably go to a 9.5 maybe. I'm in between a 9 and a 9.5. The kid keeps shocking me every time he shows up. I mean, like I said earlier, he's keeping Christensen out. He's keeping Ashby out of the back three. Like, those are huge feats to do for a kid his age. I mean, he's so young and so good. So, and he had a really well taken goal. I mean, his passing is very underrated too. Some of the passes he makes to break lines is just fantastic. I mean, I'm going to lean towards a 9 point. No, I'm going to go with a 9. I'm going to go with the 9.
Fair enough. Con, what do you reckon? 9, 9.5? Maybe something different? Because he was incredible.
No, yeah, I'm the same boy. It's a 9. Trevoh Chalobah, man. Revelation. Star boy. Cobham. I could sit here all day, Laurenz, saying good things about this guy. I really like him. He's becoming one of my favourite players. Sam's will keep it short and sweet and just say rising star, 9 all day.
Honestly, rising star is the perfect word. Like I just said, the fact that he is so seamlessly coming into this team, and like Clutch just mentioned, keeping the likes of Christensen, at least at the moment, and Azpilicueta out of the team is like beyond just impressive. Beyond just impressive. Because of Thiago Silva's heroic clearance, let's go with him last, and let's go over to Antonio Rudiger, who just had a good game today, a very good game today. I'm like, I love when Rudy shoots, big fan of it, just because it's kind of almost becoming a meme. And one of these days, one of them will go in. But you don't need to shoot with your left foot. When you shoot with your left foot, I'm like, come on now. There's no need to overdo it. But again, like, we're just so good. I mean, he did get dragged once in the first half when Jorginho in the end cleared up, which I haven't seen him get dragged like that. Him and Chile get dragged like that in a long time. But outside of that, another very, very good performance to keep a clean sheet in a Champions League against Juventus, against, Chiesa, who all of us rave about, and all of us is kind of the winger that we're most interested in, probably. I mean, maybe some people have, different suggestions, but still very, very impressive. I'd personally probably go with an 8 for Rudiger. I think that's fair. Didn't score. So, then 1 below Chalobah, I think would be fair. But hey, maybe you guys are going to go different. So let me reverse the order. Con, Rudiger, we be okay with a point below Chalobah, or do you think I'm being harsh?
Nah, spot on. I think it's an 8. He gave Chalobah a hand in his goal. True. So you can't forget that. But no, yeah, I think out of the 3, he was the least impressive. Doesn't mean he weren't good. It just means I think the other 2 were better. And yeah, for what I'm going to give Thiago Silva, I've really gone 8's fair.
Fair enough. I said reverse the order, so Clutch. Agree on the 8?
I'd agree with an 8. Not much more to be said. Kind of said it all.
Fair dues. And Pice, what about you?
Might just go 8.5 to be awkward, even though I'm going to get outvoted,
Fair enough. That's funny. Go on. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get to Thiago Silva, just quickly, we have 250 people watching. Big up to yourself. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers. Just one click of a button really means a lot. And, you make sure you don't miss out on these fantastic player rating live streams, which you do after every single game. And also, smash that like button for me because it doesn't cost you any money, barely cost you any time. And again, really helps me out. YouTube algorithm, you might not know what I'm talking about, but it just really helps me out. So please click that button. That'd be massively appreciated. But I'm not sure which one of you seemed the most hyped. But because Pi said so little about Rudiger, I'm going to make you go first for Thiago Silva. What a guy. Like, the guy's 37. We were chatting earlier on WhatsApp and we're like talking how he's like a third start in 11 days, obviously including 1 for Brazil. And he just keeps doing it. And the fact that he wasn't even like subbed off, like we could have subbed him off if there was any sort of worry about his fitness or whatever. But no, there's no need. The guy might be 37, but maybe there was some dodgy business going on when his birth certificate was written, and maybe he was actually born 10 years later, because that guy's crazy.
Yeah, I'd go over 9.5 for Silva. Maybe even 10 to be fair. I don't know. Like I think 9.5 though. But I'll see what the other two say. The thing is with Silva, I say the same thing every stream. Like, amazing on the ball, amazing defending, always in position. Like, makes blocks, makes tackles. Like, what more do you want? Like, this guy's insane. And to think he's 37, like, it just gets boring saying it at this point. But we have to keep saying it because he's truly a special breed. He's a dying breed. And yeah, his age is just, it's ridiculous. Like, I hope, for God's sake, like, please stay another season, because even if he doesn't play as much, which, to be honest, at this point, I'm sure he'll probably just play as much next season. Like, I can't doubt this guy, but even if he doesn't, like, he's just invaluable to the dressing room. Like, the influence, and like John Terry tweeted, Chalobah's going to be learning off this guy every day in training. If we bring another young defender in, like De Ligt, like Kunde, they're going to be learning off him. So, yeah, hopefully he stays. But in terms of his performance tonight, just amazing again, immense. Like, what more can I say? The block as well was just, yeah, I was speechless after that. Genuinely, I was like, this. When the ref checked the goal line technology thing, I thought, it might have gone in, but nah, like, to deny that goal from Morata as well, can I say? From Morata, to keep another clean sheet, like, this guy, he is just that guy, you know, he's that guy. He is so good.
It's honestly outrageous. And I mean, I say nearly got a goal, but he did have a header which was going in. And Chesney, it was maybe a bit of a routine save, but a good save, let's say. So, nearly got on a score sheet as well. Honestly, brilliant. I think Con is actually going to not be happy with you, Pies, that the fact that you gave him a 9.5. So let me go with you, Con. I feel like you're going to say 10. Am I right?
You'd be spot on. I'd give him a 10.
There you go. Anything you want to add to that? Or shall we just leave it at that and move on to Clutch?
See, because me and Laurenz, like, we've got this love relationship. Don't tell his girlfriend. He knows me really well, so... but no, I think, once again, one of those performances you watch, and like, this guy is just different level. Like, you see the Van Dijks, etc., and like, they've got great athleticism, like, they're quick, they're powerful. But Thiago Silva's intelligence, man, I have that all day, any day. And once again, he proves it. Like, Morata chips over the keeper, then who's there? Thiago Silva, 37. 37 years of age, Laurenz. It's not normal, man. At 37, mate, I'm probably going to need a crutch, man. Like, how this guy can still run for 90 minutes, I don't get it. It's inhuman, and I hope he stays. Like, age is just a number, and he's proven that. If Zlatan can play into his 40s, Thiago Silva can play into his 40s as well. So, 10
easily,
for me.
yeah. And Thiago can do it without shoulder barging players because he's unhappy with them for some reason. But, you do you, Zlatan. You do you. I'm sure Aspie is fine. Like you said, he's crazy, man. That guy is crazy. Clutch, you're going to have to help us here. 9.5 or 10. Where are you sitting?
I was leaning more towards 9.5. I think that the fact that he had the intelligence to make up for the mistake he made, but at the same time he still made that mistake, and I can't give him a 10 for that, especially since I want to keep the 10 for the man of the match, I think. So I think that's where I'm going to sit. Not that he doesn't deserve a 10. I think 9.5 is good enough for him today.
Unfortunately, Con, I do kind of have to agree with exactly the same reasoning of...
Can I make a point quickly, though, if that's cool?
Of course, please do.
This is a Champions League tie against Juventus. I know Juventus are not Juventus of old, but it's still Juventus. So if there's going to be a game where multiple player gets 10, is it going to be a 4-0 against Juventus? I think that's a good claim. Just putting it out there.
That is true. Like for me, it's like he made up for the mistake, but he still made the mistake. I feel like because it was a bit of like because obviously he made up for it. No one's going to talk about it, but that's the least Thiago Silva-like thing I've seen other than when we've played West Brom. So I feel like he would probably feel hard done by if we gave him a 10 because you're like, when I play perfect, you also give me a 10. So how is that happening today? So unfortunately, Con, you've been outvoted, but you know, if anybody in the chat drastically disagrees, hey, drop a super chat and we can give him a 10. It's fine. It's fine. Let's move on to the wingbacks. Let's get to Mr. unfortunately getting injured today, Mr. Ben Chilwell, because until he got injured, he was actually brilliant. The only bad thing he did was, how many minutes in? 4, 5, 6 minutes into the game, he kind of arguably should have scored, but unfortunately just hit thin air instead of the ball when he had a good volley from, you know, a loose ball inside the box. But he was so active, making these runs again, getting inside again. I mean, he was very, you know, shooter happy today. Trigger happy is the word. But he's just working his socks off, isn't he? And he's just playing so well. And I just love the fact that, you know, in some games, in some periods of games, we have Chile, who's the guy that's proper in the box and not on the crossing. But Reece James stays out wide, and then it switches, and then Chile kind of initially plays the ball that ends up with Reece, from which Reece scores. So, like, brilliant. Honestly, brilliant. Of course, he got injured, but we can't exactly hold that against him. I don't know. I'd probably give Chile, what will we do? An 8, just because I feel like he was very good, but he did hit thin air instead of scoring a goal. So I feel like anything higher than an 8 is a bit too much, but maybe you guys disagree. Let me go with you first, Clutch. Would you go along with that, or what did you make of Ben Chilwell today before he got injured, of course?
I think he is an 8 today. Like his work rate is just nobody else. Like honestly, Alonso's not going to match that work rate. He's not going to be running up and down the pitch trying to get in behind. It's either he's going to be too slow, but it's not for an Alonso. I think Chilwell is just for what kind of attributes he possesses. He's just so unreplaceable on this team. And I think today we've seen a lot of, like, he was always first one to try to pressure somebody midfield when the ball was going the other way. I think an 8 is good for him today.
That is fair. Again, if anybody has tuned in since we started talking, and obviously you haven't heard that yet, so Ben Chilwell did obviously suffer a knee injury. He did feel sharp pain, but Thomas Tuchel did say post-game that he does feel a little bit better now. So, you know, again, we can't only be you know, positive and hope that it's nothing too serious. And obviously, I'll explain the situation for Kante when we get to Kante as well, for anybody that might not have heard in the beginning. Con, Chilwell, would you go along with an 8, or, you know, it's another difficult one because he was great. It's just a question of how much he's still a wingback. As much as our wingbacks are super attacking, how much do you take off for mishitting a ball when you could have scored, especially if we in the end win 4-0 anyway?
Yeah, I get that. I'd go with an 8. I think him and Rudiger were on par today in terms of level of performance. I think he was good. You know, even if we don't get like a goal or assist or something incredible from Chilwell, he'll give you that energy. You know, he'll give you that intensity, and he works 100% of the time. And yes, I can't think of anything really he did that poorly besides what you mentioned. So, and yeah, him and Rudiger for me locked that left side down, and Chiesa really didn't have nothing. And shout out to Thiago Silva, by the way. That 1-on-1 he had with Chiesa, and he just locked it off quick. Intelligence, man.
Yeah. I almost feel sorry, Pies. Second time running. I go with you last, and we've already had 3 8. So unless you go drastically different, it's not unfortunately going to change anything. But what did you make of Chilwell today until he got injured?
No, to be fair, I don't like really going first anyway, because it puts me on the spot. I don't know what rating to give. And then I feel like everyone's just going to say, no, I don't agree with that. So I like to listen to everything. I have a general consensus, and I feel like I agree, to be fair. I was thinking 8.5, but I think 8 is like a really solid rating, and I think 8.5 might be pushing it a little bit because there wasn't too many moments where he was really good in attack today, but overall, like the guy said, it gives you lots of energy, is good in defence, and yeah, like the energy is the most important thing, obviously, because of the overlaps we seem to create, like Hudson-Odoi and him down the left-hand side. Like there was a lot of times where we was 2v1, isolating Cuadrado, who, by the way, is he just looked so like lost at right back. Like I don't know why we didn't target him for all 90 minutes, to be honest with you. But Yeah, I mean, especially after he got that yellow card, like the left-hand side was just, we could have attacked that so much more. But, Chilwell was pretty solid today, and fingers crossed the injury is not too bad. Even if it's a few weeks, I'm going to be really disappointed because Lukaku being out for a few weeks has felt like a lifetime. Even though we've been winning, like still it's felt a long, long time. So, hopefully it's just like a week or two and not like 5, 6, 7 weeks because even though Aspie can do a role, Aspie can do a role there. Alonso can play. It's just not the same, is it? Like Aspie playing left wing back's awkward because he constantly has to cut onto his right foot, so that makes him predictable. And Alonso's just Alonso who slows down attacks, might chip in with a goal here and there, but we're not going to be the same team. So, the two wing backs that we have right now are so important to our wins. Like, I don't think people realise that. It's crazy how important they are. And I think you'd see that. No disrespect to Aspie and Alonso. If those two played tonight, I think you'd see a different result, honestly.
For sure. I do still back us to win the game, but I do definitely agree that we wouldn't have looked as good for sure. And I mean, we have so many important players, but I do firmly believe that these two positions, and because, we have one on each that's really good, they're arguably the most crucial players at the moment to whether we get a great result or not. But yeah, no, I back it. Again, get well soon, Chile. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. But let's move on to the clear man of the match. I don't think there's much of a debate about ratings, so let's just put that down. But oh my days, like I tweeted during the game, before he even scored, that guy's just, there's no words to explain how good Reece James is. Like, I very rarely in all of my life watching football seen a player that's that has all of the things he has. Like, he's ridiculously strong. He's actually quick. His touch is outrageous. His passing is outrageous. His shooting is outrageous. Like, and he actually is good at defending as well. Like, obviously, when he started coming into the side under Frank Lampard two seasons ago, people were like, if there was one thing he maybe still needs to work on a little bit, it's the defending. But we won a Champions League bloody final with him playing right centre back. Like, even that's not a problem for him at all. Like, the guy is literally the complete footballer. Like, if anything, it's a shame that I say it's a shame. It's the wrong word, but it's like because we currently play a system where they're super influential. Perfect. But if we ever switch to a system where the right back / right wing back is not as crucial, we're almost costing ourselves because the guy is so good. You want him to be drastically involved. Like, Szczesny pulled off a great save to stop him from scoring earlier in the game already. His goal, the chest, the touch with the chest, the half volley shot or volley shot, whatever you want to call it, outrageous. And that pass in the lead up to the 4-0 in the very end by Timo Werner to Hakim Ziyech switching it on the volley, like, the guy's just crazy. Like, the guy is just absolutely crazy. Pys, we have the rating already sorted, but I will allow you to go first this time, so you don't feel like you're repeating what other people have said.
I mean, you pretty much just summed everything up right there.
Sorry.
Like, you literally give every attribute. Like, he literally has everything. And I tell you what, United are going to get cooked down that side on the weekend, bro. Like, I was watching them tonight. Teller's constantly out of position. Shaw looks like he's injured, and even if he's not, he's been terrible lately. Like, I'm so excited for the weekend with Reece. I feel like, early prediction, I think he's going to score another goal. Genuinely, I do. And like you said, if we didn't play him right wing back, it'd almost be like a con because it's not a pro to have someone just right back. He put in good crosses, right? But the amount of goals he scores and the amount he gets forward and he can drop into midfield, like, it's just beautiful. Like, it generally is. Like, yeah, maybe eventually sometime we might move to a back four, but right now I'm just enjoying these wing backs so much because they play like wingers, and it's just such a pro to have someone like Reece who can dribble, can cross, can shoot, can pass in that attacking phase. Like, yeah, and honestly, when that ball bounced to him, dropped to him, I knew he was going to smash it. Like, generally, I was saying just smash it, and he did. And not surprised, honestly. I saw some people saying, "Oh, Szczesny could have saved that." If you see the replay, the shot went about 100 miles an hour. He'd have broke his hand if he saved it properly. Genuinely,
no,
like,
exactly.
it was ridiculous.
I mean, if we're going to look at it from a goalie perspective, Szczesny was, well, he had his arm right under the ball, but the ball comes so fast, he just has to put it somewhere. Then either the goalie gets lucky and gets it.
It's just the technique, bro. Like the technique and the skill behind his shots is so impressive. You can tell he works on it constantly, and everyone knew Reece could score bangers, right? Like he scored bangers at Wigan, he scored bangers before. Like even the volleying technique for Ajax was really, really good. But this one was just, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
No, I could not agree more. I know we're making it difficult for you boys. Let me go with you first, Clutch. I know we're making it difficult in terms of what else you can add, but if there is anything you want to add on Reece James in today or overall, please do, mate, because that's crazy.
Honestly, I don't even know what else to say. I mean, other than like give him a 12, give him a 15. I don't care. He was just far and away our best player today, and he was pretty much linking all the play up, doing everything. Like he was just like, I don't know what else to say other than he was like the most influential player today, and by a mile. Well, I shouldn't say that, but he was probably one of the most influential players.
No, exactly. Con, I will let you go first on Jorginho because we do share a love for him. But unfortunately, someone had to go last on Reece. Is there anything else you want to add, or shall we just move on? Because hey, up to you, mate. Just say whatever you want to say, bro.
On Reece James, I think these three have said it all, and he's just one of our own, man. That makes it even better.
Oh yeah, I agree. But on Jorginho, mate, another masterclass in my opinion. Especially because both Kante and Ruben were so offensive. He was basically doing the whole like DM thing all by himself.
Yeah, bro. Today he was outstanding. I mean, he was next level, especially that second half, bro. He was winning everything. Like he was intercepting like a madman today. I really want to give him a 10. I really do, because I think he had that level of performance today. He locked down that midfield on his own at times. He was everywhere. He was even putting people through. He was doing everything, man. Controlled the tempo, creating chances, winning the ball back. Like, what did he do wrong today? Nothing. Outstanding performance once again from Chelsea's Reducer, Jorginho, Ballon d'Or winner, 2021. Rivals cry. Our Italian maestro lifting up that little personal award. Let's go, man. If Modric can, Jorginho can.
I think an excited and happy Con is one of my favorite things in the world. That's brilliant. Love that. Let me go to you, Clutch. Would you back the 10 or would you more lie on a 9.5?
If I didn't back the 10 for Thiago Silva, who probably deserved it as much as James, I'm probably going to go with a 9.5 for Jorginho. Not that he did anything wrong, because he was excellent in that first half. Like Con said, pretty much everything. He was just controlling. He was intercepting. He was breaking up play when he needed to. His passing was fantastic as usual. I mean, 95% of the time, he's one of the players that has the most touches for us. And today, again, I think he was second or third. I don't know. It was either between him or James. I don't remember. But Jorginho is just fantastic. I would go with a 9.5, but if Pius says 10, I'll say, hey, back it.
Exactly. So, Pius, even though you are, well, before me, but kind of going last, you're still kind of very decisive here in terms of what rating Jorginho actually gets. So, where do you sit on it?
To be fair, I think him and Silva probably deserve either joint rating or maybe Jorginho 10. Like, I'm on the fence. Maybe both 9.5 or one of them gets a 10. Because, like Con said, I think Jorginho was amazing today. And, he was just amazing. He controlled everything. His passes were beautiful. Shame Kante had to go off. But even when Ruben come on, it just doesn't affect anything, right? Like, it's seamless. Like, it's still perfect in the pivot. And that's because he's the instructor. He's our captain right now when Aspie's not playing. So, yeah, he's got a lot of responsibility and he handles that responsibility so well every single game. So I think he could be deserved of a 10, yeah.
I kind of agree. I was just so impressed by James that shall we make it a day where one gets higher than a 10? And that solves all our problems? And then we give Thiago and Jorginho a 10?
Yeah, I think Reece should get an 11 for that goal alone, to be honest, man. Like, that goal was so good.
You know what? Let's give Jorginho a 10. Let's give Reece that 11. Off you go.
Yeah.
Off you bloody go. I'm very happy. I can only back what you guys have just said about Jorginho. Like, the way he won the ball, the 50-50. Like, people look at him and people, especially the people that, I'm not going to say don't have ball knowledge, but more so aimed at people that don't watch us week in, week out. Let's not even talk about the people that do and still don't rate him because they're just idiots. But you will look at him frame-wise. You'd never expect... I can't remember who the 50-50 was against. It might have been... Was Locatelli still on at that point? Might have been Rabiot, one of them. And Jorginho, with his frame, there's no chance you expect him to win a proper 50-50, like foot on foot against the ball in the lead up to when we scored the third goal. Like, the fact that he wins those is ridiculous. Like, I mean, the Zone in Germany and Austria did like a whole 25-minute segment on why Jorginho is great. I'm like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like, a whole 25 minutes of why Jorginho is great. English media could never, because they don't get it. But, you know, although, do the Germans get it? Sometimes. But let's move on to N'Golo Kante. We will get to Ruben, not in the normal subs, because he played enough to not be part of the normal subs. But Kante, just to clarify, for everybody that might not have been watching at the start, twisted his knee, according to Tuchel. Big shout out Jester for sending me that tweet, by the way. Twisted his knee, unfortunately, is why he came off and obviously was replaced by Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Hopefully, again, similar with Chilwell, of course, definitely didn't seem anywhere near as serious, because, you know, he was happy to, like, you know, spin on the pitch, give it a good old clap, and everybody was you know, applauding him when he was subbed off. So, like, if you can turn around and, you know, spin while you're on the pitch, your knee can't be that bad, I'm thinking. So I'm positive that it was more like, okay, maybe a little bit of a knock in the knee, and just be sure, and hopefully can even be available for United. But, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. But until then, people are going to come at me with agendas again. But obviously, he came off halfway through the first half, and that was arguably, well, not arguably, that was when we were not as good as for the rest of the game, I guess. Not because of Kante, I'm just saying. And he wasn't. That's why I wasn't 100% sure, because I didn't see the whole him holding his knee like Pies told me he did. I thought maybe it's even tactical, because Tuchel looked annoyed to me a few times when Kante was in the final third, but got outmuscled or didn't make the right decision. So I thought maybe he's just bringing Ruben on for exactly the reason I wanted Ruben to start this, because I thought Ruben would help us penetrate Juventus's back line with their, you know, low block and a lot of strong big players and stuff. But it wasn't, of course, tactical. It was because of the injury. But I thought until then, nothing like outrageously low. But I was probably going to give him 7, even though I think Chile was more than a point better than Kante, in all honesty. But I still think a 7 is probably fair. Come at me, tell me I have an agenda, tell me I hate him. Please do if you fancy it. I don't. It's just my opinion. I honestly like just to, you know, a little bit of a story time. So over the last few weeks, a couple of times it's happened that I've seemingly rated Kante a little bit lower than a lot of other people, whether it's the people that I have as guests on my channel, or whether it was, you know, things I see on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, am I just being weird here? Am I just looking at the wrong things? Am I not seeing things? I'm trying to pay extra attention to Kante, and I watch it, and I still see the same things I saw before, where I'm like, I don't understand why no one mentions these things. So maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe you're all idiots. I have no idea. But yeah, I was going to go 7 today. So, Pice, why don't I go with you next? What do you reckon?
I mean, to be fair, I agree with you, especially on the Loftus-Cheek thing. Like, after the Juventus away game, I remember Loftus-Cheek came on and he was actually getting through them quite well. You know, he was penetrating the midfield and getting through them quite well, getting through that deep block, but we didn't have long enough left. And he came on like 80 minutes or something like that. So, yeah, it was just a weird one. I was really expecting Jorginho and Ruben to that. I really was, but I guess one of those things where maybe Jesters was right and he said, you know, if Kante's fit, he starts, but still, I mean, maybe this is why we're looking into a midfielder, because the amount of injuries this guy picks up is just, it's crazy. It's crazy levels at the moment. So, yeah, and to be honest with you, on his actual performance, didn't think he played that great. Like you said, when he was driving forward, he wasn't like Leicester, where he was just brilliant in the attacking phase. He did lose the ball quite a few times, a couple of times in the penalty box as well, getting out muscle, but yeah, just decision making. I think sometimes with Kante on that last phase, you know, can you find a pass? Can you lay it off to someone? But he's just running into trouble. I thought a little bit too much today, from what I was noticing. So I think 7's a fair rating. It's nothing bad. It's a decent rating. He played all right, but it was nothing special. And I think with Kante, we have to hold him to the standards that we know he can reach. So especially in a big Champions League game, thought he could have played a bit better, to be honest.
No, exactly. I agree. I agree. And Tom Alex said it there. When we dominate games, we don't necessarily need Kante. That doesn't mean he can't still be good like it was against Leicester. But his main best attributes aren't as required. So that's why because of the reason you just mentioned, he gets so many injuries. Just don't play him all the time. Like, we don't desperately need him to win every game. So just make sure we have him ready when we really do need him in specific games, which we certainly do because he's incredible. But he doesn't need to be played every time he's fit. And I hope Tuchel at some point changes that approach, because I do think he needs to. Let me go with you, Con. Do you agree on the 7, or would you go with someone different for Kante?
Nah, I think 7's spot on, to be honest. I agree with exactly what Pi says. We have to hold him to the standard that he is, and I think he's a world-class player. And today, at parts, he looked really good, but on the ball, he didn't look so good. And I agree. Like, we had this conversation with about N'Golo all the time, bro. We don't always need him, you know. Don't get me wrong. Some games we do. Games like this where we're just going to dominate the ball for 90 minutes, we don't really need him. Maybe Tuchel played him today because the threat they pose on the counter, I don't know. But N'Golo was pushing up so high, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So what was the point?
Exactly.
So a 7 today, I think that's fair because he did have some good moments, but you know, he wasn't a Jorginho today. You know, Jorginho really bossed that midfield, and N'Golo, on the other hand, was a bit meh.
Yeah, no, I mean, even meh, to be honest, like, even me, I'm like, this maybe a slightly harsh word, but yeah, I think 7 we're in a good position. Clutch, would you back it? Would you go lower? Would you go higher?
I will back it. 7 for me too. I even texted you this. I think the problem was it was just not the game for him again. And again, we've had this conversation in the last 2 streams about him. Is when do we think we should start him? How do we manage him better? Because of these injuries that he does pick up. Because, think we were talking about, should we play him for Leicester, save him on Juventus, and then play him again for United? Because we definitely need him for United. And then this happens. But, hopefully it's not too serious and he'll be fine. But there's always that chance of overplaying him. And he played... I think he just kept getting out-muscled today. Like, I think Rabiot just out-muscled him every time he got the ball. And they had, like, a duel. He just got out-muscled. That's why I think Ruben was a lot better choice, because he didn't get out-muscled as soon as Rabiot tried to get into those little duels. He pushed Rabiot off of him. He was stronger. He was better at that than Kante was. Does that mean Kante's a bad player? No, by no chances is he a bad player. And we don't hate him. We just think he needs to be managed a little bit better to avoid these little injuries where he goes off in the 40th minute or whatever, 35th minute or whatever he went off at. So we can have him for a sustained period of time. And that way we don't have to wonder, is he going to be okay for the next game? Like, I just think he needs to be managed better. Today, he was just all right. He wasn't the same Kante that we usually see from him. But also, I don't think that's necessarily his fault.
Yeah, no, fair. And just to this question by Fantasy PJ Tour, I did, because we dominated them away. I know we didn't win, but we dominated. So, like, I definitely did, because if they let us do all the playing football at their stadium, they're definitely going to let us do the whole playing football at our ground. So that was that for me. But let's get to Ruben here, because obviously, you know, like we've started doing recently and made a final decision finally that we give all the subs a star rating, but obviously Ruben played pretty much an hour today, so gets a full rating. People know I love Ruben, but that assist for Callum, he literally turned the entire Juve defense into slalom poles. Like, he was literally like turned to a skier. I was like, he was going left, he was going right. I'm like, this is mental. It took a while for I thought when he came on in the first half, I didn't think it was amazing. There was 2 occasions which he lost the ball, which he arguably shouldn't have. One was just a bit silly, and the other one was a bit unlucky, I guess. But the second half, he just got better and better, and it seemed like to get more and more confident. And there was also this one moment in the second half where literally 3 Juve players at once tried to take the ball off him, and he just wasn't having it and kept the ball anyway and started an attack. Like, that guy is incredible. The guy is absolutely incredible. And hey, look, it's in the title and it's under the thumbnail as well. Chalobah scoring, Ruben Loftus-Cheek assisting, Hudson-Odoi scoring, Reece James being clear man of the match. Like, we are different. Like, we are absolutely built different. But Ruben, I don't even know. I'm gonna hold my rating and see what you guys say, so I don't have to up my rating at the end when I realize all of you are going higher and I didn't want to go too high. So let me go with you first, Con. What do you reckon about Ruben when he came on?
I don't think he was entirely great when he first came on, but the second half he settled into the game and he was doing good stuff. You know, I think it was like 80-something minute, and like he had the ball in our half and he just spun everyone. I was like, what are you doing, Ruben? Just couldn't tackle him for anything. I really like how he plays, man. I really do. And that assist to Callum, what an assist, you know. Like the feet of him is unbelievable, man. Like
the guy's so tall.
He's the Tyson Fury of football. Like he has feet he shouldn't have. Being that big, you shouldn't have the feet you do, but he does. You know, he's the Tyson Fury of football, and I think an 8. I think that's more than fair today. I think maybe even an 8.5. You know.
Let's see. Let me put an 8.5 with a question mark and see what Price and Clutch have to say. Price, I'll go with you next. What do you reckon? 8.5, or would you go something different about Ruben?
I'm toying between 7.5 or 8. He was definitely better than Kante. I think an 8 probably. Like Kante said, didn't think he was great when he first came on. Although, I mean, a lot of people were getting annoyed that he was losing the ball, but for me, I just like that because that's confidence and that's the old Ruben. And the fact that old Ruben seems to come out every game now with confidence trying to take people on, it's like, wow, like he's back. You know what I mean? Like the fact that he's able to do that now. Like there was a point where even sometimes at Fulham, like he would just, he could like take on 3 or 4 players, but he just didn't do it and he played the safe option. But now his confidence is really coming out, so I don't really mind that. It's like when people say Hudson-Odoi stopped shooting, it's like, it's confidence. Like I want to see that in my players, you know what I mean? So yeah, like although he lost the ball a few times, I liked that. And I mean, after he lost the ball a few times, he didn't really lose it. Like towards the end of the game, like Kante, I'm not sure, maybe we're speaking about the same moment. Like there was a time in midfield where he took on 2 players and then someone else pressed him and I thought he lost it. Then one of the guys that he originally beat came back to track him and then Ruben just beat 2 of them by outmuscling them. And I was like, how has he come out of that with the ball? Like it's virtually impossible. Like how has he not been tackled? I just don't understand. So yeah, if Kante's not fit, then I need a bit of Ruben bullying Man United's midfield.
Exactly that. And I think you made a good point there in terms of confidence, and not just confidence in him, but also confidence in us as fans. Sure, I'm a big fan of him, so maybe I have that slightly more than some other people. But we took N'Golo Kante off. We had to. Obviously, we weren't 100% sure maybe at the time, but we had to take N'Golo Kante off in the first half, 8-9 minutes before halftime. And we saw Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Like Kante is one of the best players in the entire world at what he does. The best player in the entire world. And we bring Ruben on, and we see Ruben warming up. And was anyone nervous? Was anyone else like, oh, no, we have to take Kante off?
I was excited. I was excited.
Exactly. Exactly
you know what I mean? That's the point.
It's absolutely incredible. Clutch, what do you reckon? 8.5? What do you see?
I'm going to go with an 8.5. I think he was brilliant in that second half. I think like his ability to drive the ball forward, allowing Jorginho to stay a little bit farther back, and controlling the midfield, and he was able to push forward. I mean, and he even, like I said earlier, his strength to keep the other midfielders off the ball was absolutely key to a lot of the things we ended up doing. I think I'm not the biggest guy to say, hey, Cobham or anything, but these guys who are coming from the Chelsea Academy and they're performing at this level, it is insane to see that. And Ruben is honestly resurging as one of the best players on this team for consistent time and time again performances.
Honestly, no, I back it. I mean, to be honest, I kind of was going to go 8. But it's Ruben. So Clutcher said 8.5. Connor said 8.5. 8.5 it is. Sorry, Pies. Let's get to the front 3 because those will be, aside from Callum, will be more interesting. And we're already going for a long time, so I will try to get this wrapped up within some reasonable amount of time. But we also have over 300 people watching. Big ups yourself. Appreciate it a lot. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe. Really does mean a lot. Hit that big red subscribe button. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers. Every new subscriber counts, so please do subscribe and smash the like button. Like I said, 300 people, so let's get to at least 200 likes. Come on. Doesn't cost you any money, barely cost you any time. And let's get into the front 3. And before we get into the 2, which might be a bit more difficult to rate, not because they were bad, but just because it's more difficult to really judge, let's get to Callum. I was very happy with Callum. I'm not always as hype about Callum as some other people are, but I was very happy with him today. Yes, he should have. There was 2 which he should have done better with in the box. One, obviously, in which were was it Cuadrado? Was it McKennie? One of them got in there when he took a little bit too long. Could he have squared it to Pulisic? Could he have shot himself quicker? Should have done better there. The Jorginho chip ball to him Bonucci, to be fair, was flying in with, studs up. So, I get that he was just, snatched at it a bit. But overall, today was the Callum that I want to see. Callum was happy to receive the ball in any area, happy to take people on in any area, tried a few shots. Even if they didn't all work out, he tried things. He tried to go past people, he crossed the ball, he shot the ball. That was what I want to see from a winger. And he did all of that today. He was, obviously, Cuadrado isn't exactly the strongest fullback he's ever going to come up against. But, he was winning every 50-50 against him. He was outpacing him. And Cuadrado is a quick player. He was doing a lot of things very, very right today. And I was very pleased. And in the end, obviously, gets his goal as well. Fantastic. And he seemed very, very happy. Seemed to be he was almost a bit annoyed that he didn't score over the last 2 games or last couple of games where he played well. Or was it, did he score in the game before Leicester? I can't even remember. But he didn't score against Leicester when he arguably should have done, and definitely his performance deserved it. So he seemed to be really relieved that he got that goal, and I was very happy for him. It's tough. To be honest, I'd like to go 9. I was very happy with him today. I mean, I'd be okay with an 8.5, but I'd like to go 9, in all honesty. I'll see what you guys say, but I'd honestly like to go 9. I thought he was very good today, and that's what I want to see from my wingers. The way he played today, I was very happy. So why don't I go with you first this time, Clutch? What do you reckon? What do you make of Callum today?
I was very impressed with Callum today. I think he would be on. I'm going to go with an 8.5. The same thing is he's not a finisher, so that's my problem with him. That's not his game. He doesn't finish. He's more of a creator, and he was creating chances today. He was taking people on. He was doing the things I want to see from Callum, which is dribbling at players, taking on players, creating space, and then getting other players involved. I think he was the best of the front three. I think an 8.5 is pretty good for him, but he's kind of hard for me to rate because 9 times out of 10, the things that I think he should be doing, he doesn't do it, but he did all that and more today. He just needs to work on his finishing, and then we'll bump it up.
Fair. Let's see what the others say, which we end up going with. Pice, let me ask you. 8.5, 9, would you go with something different? Would you make of kind of
9 for sure. 9 for sure. 100%. He was really good today. Got his goal as well. Constantly in good positions, picking up the ball. And I don't know, Laurenz, I kind of disagree with you in terms of you said he did everything that you wanted him to do today. I thought he did everything I wanted him to do against Leicester. And every time I watch Hudson-Odoi, he does everything I want from a winger. So that's why I rate him so highly. But yeah.
But didn't you think it was better today than it was against Leicester?
I mean, he got the goal, but in terms of influence, it's kind of the same every game with Callum. He's always on the ball. He's always the one trying to receive the ball. He always wants to take responsibility. He's always trying to cut in and shoot and dribble. I don't see what people get on it in for. I don't really see it personally, but yeah, I think he's going to keep improving every single time he plays. And I've been wanting this for years, just consistent starts on the left-hand side where we know that he can play his best football because it's his favourite position. Players don't just say it's their favourite position for no reason. He is the best on the left, 100%, because he can actually cut in. On the right, sometimes when he plays wing-back or on the right, all he can do is cross. So most of the time he gets shut out on the byline and then, wins corners or whatever. But from the left, he can cut in and shoot.
But that's the thing I think that I disagree with you on. He's not a scorer, and he's never going to be. He doesn't have that ability.
No, we can't say he's never going to be a scorer. It's not true. He's too young to say that, I think.
That's fair. But I think his best quality is he's able to get past a player and put the ball into the box. He's one of the better crossers we have on the team, and it's not even close. And he can't do it with his left foot 90% of the time. So that's why I prefer him on the right. Now, today, he was very good on the left, so I'm not going to say that. But later, there's going to be problems. I mean, I think we have a really strong squad, so at this point, it's just about keeping consistency. So if he's playing consistently, he doesn't lose it. That's all I'm saying.
Clutch, why do you think Pulisic is better on the left then? Because
Pulisic is a better scorer. That is who Pulisic is not a. I can't say he's not a creator. He's not a crosser. He can't do that. It's just not his game. He can't cross the ball to save his life. Now, I think Pulisic is able to get into the positions better from the left to score. I think that is what Pulisic is. He's a scorer at heart. He's the second or third best finisher on our team, and it's not even close. Well, I can't say that because James is actually getting up there now, so I can't.
True.
But I think Pulisic is able to be that person better on the left. Now, I will say what I have to say about him later, but I think as far as like if you're going to use those two together, Pulisic has to be on the left, Cho has to be on the right, because Cho is going to create the chances better than Pulisic will ever create on the right. But Pulisic is going to be a better finisher within that left-hand position than Cho will be. And that's how I see it. I mean, I disagree with you on that, and I love to have these discussions with you, Pius, because I that's what I love, is I love having these discussions to make me change my mind about things, and maybe I see it in a different light. So we just see it in a different way, I think.
I just think every time I watch Hudson-Odoi play on the left, he commands and gets so much authority, like on the ball. Like I just see a different Hudson-Odoi on the left, so I do when he's on the right. Personally, I just feel like he's half the player. But
I agree, but also I think that's
like you could say the same. I get it, but
I think that's mentality-wise from both of them. Both of them don't want to try if they're not in their favorite position. Maybe don't know that for sure, but maybe that's a little bit has something to do with it.
No, it's definitely not a will of trying.
I think you both make really good points, and I think you both have valid reasons for both of the things you say. I think for me, it's just Callum is an in and around the box or outside and around the box winger, while Pulisic is an in the box winger. Because Pulisic has movement and arrival timing that is very rare to come around, and he's incredible at that. And that I will say Callum will probably never have, because that thing, either you have it or you don't. That's not really something you can teach. Sure, maybe he finds it in him. Fair enough. Be happily proven wrong over the years, right? But in terms of what I see of them now, Pulisic has that timing in terms of getting those goals that we so often frustratingly don't get when we can't break teams down easily and we whiz those balls across the box. If we don't have Pulisic, likely it is none of us score them. Maybe with Lukaku, obviously, once he gets more time, that changes. But that was our problem last season. But when Pulisic's fit, those balls come whizzing through the box, Pulisic's going to be there to score it. And that's not going to be Callum. But that I don't think that's necessarily depending on are they on the left, are they on the right. I think both of their strengths come out on either side. But I think Callum, if it's down to me, Callum should just spend a whole month literally just training his left foot. Because if that guy could have a left foot, that would make such a new dimension to that guy's game. I'm not saying I say he doesn't have a left foot, but compared to his weak foot, like look at someone like Pedro. Pedro was so two-footed, and that is, even though Pedro, as much as he was good, he was not the greatest player in the world. He wasn't the fastest. Dribbling was good, sure, but he wasn't the strongest. His passing wasn't the most outrageous, but because he was so two-footed, it was so difficult to do anything about him, especially in his heydays at Barcelona, but even for a few years when he was with us. And I think if Callum, but the same goes for Pulisic, but Pulisic's weak foot is a little better than Callum. So I think those are just the things they need to work on more rather than, left side, right side. I think both of them, the biggest thing for both of them is learn to be good on either side. Don't just be so one-dimensional that you can only be your best on one side. I guarantee if you put Hazard on the right for us, we'd still say Hazard's by far our best player. Do you know what I mean? Would he be quite as good as he is on the left? Maybe not, but get at least too close to the same level. I think that's what they both need to work on. But Con, I do feel bad because we have kind of left you out here, and we do need to go back to Callum's rating. 8.509 or something different. What do you think?
I'm going to give Callum a 9 for today. I always say that I like what Callum does, just needs to add that goal. And what did he do today? He added a goal, And yeah, I get what both of them are saying. I want to see Odoi on the left for a bit because it's his favoured position. And he's earned that spot, I think. Puli's just come back today, weren't great, but then again, playing a 9, it's not really his fault. So I want Odoi to stay there for a bit. Puli can hit the right or the bench for a little bit, get back to full fitness, But yeah, today I was really happy with Cho, really happy with him. I think each game I'm watching him, he's just getting better and better. And if he can just start adding them goals, Jesus Christ, we've got a player on our hands.
Hey, there you go. Just quickly, by the way, that was his 7th start in a row. That is his longest ever run in the starting 11. He's had, anywhere, obviously, but obviously at Chelsea, which is interesting because it's not Frank Lampard. It's Thomas Tuchel. They gave him that. Of course, we have to let Frank off a little bit because obviously Callum was recovering from tearing his Achilles when Lampard was in charge. But still fair feat. 7 starts in a row is not easy for anyone. Sure, a lot of that has to do with the injuries, but still, to have the fitness and the, play well enough not to be dropped for 7 games in a row says something, in my opinion. Says something. But let's get to the last 2 of the front 3 because I do want to round this up. For some reason, I'm very tired today. So let's get to Hakim Ziyech, who the first half, I wasn't particularly happy with. I mean, Pi sent me stats of his first half, and I sent them to Clutch as well. Not great. But the second half was better. Was quite a bit better. I mean, there was the 1-2 with Callum, which was lovely. He was involved in the third goal as well. He was assisted the fourth goal as well. So, like, first half not great, but second half was pretty damn good. I don't know. I'd probably give his first half like a 6 and the second half an 8. So I'd give him a 7 overall. Not sure how you guys feel about that, but that's probably how I'd go about it. Because I left you out so much about Callum, would you go along with that, or do you have a different opinion on Hakim?
I want to give Hakim an 8.5 today. I think that second half was really, really good.
8.5 overall, okay.
Yeah, I know the first half was a bit meh. I ain't gonna lie, it was. But my friend said to me, we was watching it together, right? And he was like, "Oh, Hakim ain't doing himself any favours here." I was like, "Give it the other half, bro. Watch." And the other half, he watched. I just think he's so unique. He's, I don't know, with Cho, Pili, Werner, like they all have similar traits in some aspects, But CS he's so unique, and when he can do the stuff he can do in like the second half, it was just nice to watch. It just makes the simplest things look so easy, and he's a moments player. I think we all need to remember that he's a moments player. That's what we signed him for. It's like signing Werner, and no, you're not getting the most clinical of finishers. You know what you're buying, and he produced moments, man. And as long as he's working hard for the team, he's pressing well, which he did today. He was looking like he's caring, because for some reason that's a massive criticism of him. His body language don't look right. That's dumb. But no, as long as he's working for the team and he produces the moments, I'm happy with him. And an 8.5 today.
Fair enough. Like I said, for me, the first half was a bit too meh to give him an 8.5 overall, because that would almost mean he was a 10 in the second half, and I don't think he was that. But fair, let's see what the others say, and then we obviously have a democratic rating in the end. Who do I go with next? Let me go with Pice. What do you reckon? What was Hakim for you? Because obviously, I mean, you was the one that sent me the stats of the first half.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was really bad in the first half, but second half he was good, to be fair. I think overall, 8 overall, I think, evens it out. Because the second half I will give him credit for. Like, he was good in the second half, but first half, yeah, it was really annoying me. But yeah, I'll go with 8 overall, because some of the stuff in the second half he was doing was really nice. I thought he was better on the ball in the second half. Didn't give it as much, and yeah, I think we've got to give credit for the cross as well, because it wasn't an easy cross to Werner. Even though it looks easy on TV, the technique's not easy. So yeah, perfectly timed. So I'll give him a lot of credit for that. I'll give him an 8.
Fair. Clutch, what about you?
I am going to go with, as much as he annoyed me, like the biggest thing that annoyed me with him today is he was not linking up with Pulisic at all. I don't think he had one pass to him. And, I mean, for Pulisic to work in that false 9, that has to be something that he does, and he didn't do it at all. And I'm going to go with an 8, because he did have a good second half performance. He was way more involved. But yeah, I wasn't very happy overall, but I'm going to give him an 8.
Fair enough. We have an 8.5, 2 8s. So an 8, it shall be. Let's get to
Hold that, Laurenz. Hold that. You're 7. You're 7. Get out of here with the 7s, man.
Well, I wanted to give him a 7.5, but I felt like I should be nice.
Yeah, Clutch threw me under the bus here. All good. But on that note, on Christian Pulisic, I'll stick with you, Clutch. What do you make of him today? Because I didn't think he was amazing, but I didn't think he was bad. And I feel like some people will claim he was bad, but I think for the type of player he is, for the type of game this was for him playing, like even bloody Lukaku had a really bad game against these Juventus centre-backs. So, people coming out here telling me, oh, Pulisic was awful. Nah. Was he amazing? No. But he wasn't awful. And I think he did a decent job, had a tough night, but worked his bloody socks off. His first start all season, this was, by the way. So Second since Palace. Okay, so first start since our first Premier League game of the season. So, like, let him off a little bit if, some people in the chat are going to be really harsh on him. But what do you make of him, Clutch?
He had a very tough game. I think he was an average player. The thing is, I think Pulisic today, he was making all the runs he needed to make. He was creating space. He was dragging both center backs with him. I think that was the hard part. He had both De Ligt and Bonucci sitting on him pretty much the entire game, so he didn't really have much room to do anything. On top of that, he really didn't get any service from anybody. The only time he got service was when it was like through the middle of the park, or he went out to one of the wings to get it, and then at that point, I mean, it was almost pointless because he was being tracked by one or two players. He was not good. I would be in between a 6.5 and a 7. I think today was probably, as far as pressing goes, I think it was one of his best pressing games that I've ever seen him do. I think he was really good at that today. But other than that, I mean, he had like 20 touches the whole game, and he played 70 minutes. So you really can't do much, especially when the services are coming into you. And as a false 9, as a guy who's 5'8", I can't really blame him for that. So I don't think he was good, but also I think there are reasons why he wasn't very good.
Fair. But what rating would you give him then overall?
If I'm going to go 0.5 higher than I did for Ziyech, then I'm going to go 0.5 higher than I think for Pulisic, so 7.
Fair enough. Nice. What about Christian Pulisic? What do you make of him in that false 9 or 9 role, as Jester told us in the chat? What do you make of that? And, how do you rate him?
Not gonna lie, not as good and fluid as I was hoping for. But I mean, it's a difficult one because I would have liked to see him with like a different right-sided player like Mount or someone like that, just to see if it was different with Ziyech. Like, because I don't know, like combinations between players are different, so I would have liked to see that. But and again, I was a little surprised Mount didn't start today, but he was pretty bad against Leicester, so I can understand that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like Clutch said, he had 20 touches, and personally, from what I was watching, some of his touches were so bad, like so off. Really heavy touches. And this is something I think I touched upon a few months ago on here. I either said Pulisic is either unreal receiving the ball, turns everyone, wins fouls, or his touches are always really loose. And today it was kind of that for me. So I'll go with a 6.5. I won't be too harsh, but I think just more of an average rating. Like, yeah, there's reasons why he wasn't as good. Like, he would have been better out wide, but still, I thought his touches I noticed upon were just a few times, like receiving it in the middle. I thought, just get it under control. Like, it was bobbling about a bit. Like, I don't know. He didn't look fully ready to me for some reason. I don't know. Something was just off with him today, I think. And yeah, he just ghosted quite a bit.
Yeah, fair enough. Con, what do you reckon? 6.5, 7?
I'm going for a 6 today. I think he ghosted too much for my liking. Don't get me wrong, he could have been played through more, but we're playing a low block here. Pulley, you can't always get in behind, You need to drop. And you weren't doing it enough for me. It's night and day the difference between him and Kai playing that role. Kai has way more touches. He's way more involved. Pulley today, I don't like him there. I don't mind in game when he starts out wider, then, I don't know, what's the word called? Interchanges with whoever's at the 9. But him starting there, I'm not a fan at all. You want Pulley on the ball, He's dangerous when he's on the ball. And today, he was a ghost. I even said to my friend a few times, is Pulisic still on? Because I didn't see him for ages. And did someone say he had 20 touches today?
It was like 20 or 30 or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I can't justify giving that more than a 6. Surely, he can get more service, but he can do a lot more. When it was Lukaku, we grilled him for it, so there's no excuse for Pulley.
Do you think there is a bit of an excuse if Pulisic plays striker compared to Lukaku, who is an actual striker? But I do, in general, agree. I think I'm going to go with a 6.5, and then obviously we have two 6.5s and 0.5 either way. Like I said, I think it was a tough first start since Palace, but it also wasn't as good as it could have been, maybe should have been. Let's quickly get through the subs. What order did we actually make the subs in? Obviously, Aspie came on for Chile, so that's one. Who else came on? Who else came on with Aspie? Was it Timo straight away, was it?
Yes, Timo. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Saul came on with Mount as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then Saul came on for Jorginho, and Mason Mount came on for Hudson-Odoi. Obviously, they will get star ratings. Let's start with Timo Werner because he actually got on the score sheet. I actually thought Timo looked quite good. I thought his touches was like, ooh, fair enough. I've rarely seen you have this many good touches. So that was decent. I even texted my girlfriend like, oh, also happy with this passing. 2 seconds later, he passed it straight to the opponent. But in general, on Timo like standards, I'm like, looked sharp today, looked good, was happy with him, got the goal, didn't put it over, because as much as we would have laughed at it and we would have criticized it had he put it over, that was actually not easy. That one, because it came at like kind of knee height. So it wasn't an easy one. But he put it in, even as much as it was close range, it's still an easy one to somehow screw up, especially with his goal scoring record in front of goal. But he did all right. So with a star, I don't know, give him give him an 8. That's what I would say. Do we agree? I don't want to sit here too long for all the subs, because I do want to wrap this up quickly. So let me start with you, Con. 8 for Werner, would you agree, or would you go different?
No, yeah, created a massive chance, scored the goal. 8.
True, he did score the sitter for Ziyech. That's fair. Yeah. Clutch. 8 for Werner, or would you go different?
Yeah, I'd go with an 8.
Fair enough. Pice?
So I don't know if his all-round game was good enough for an 8, to be honest, from what I've seen.
So would you have gone 7.5?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I just don't think we looked really that threatening when he came on. Like, he kept the ball well, but he didn't take on anyone or do anything special. But I guess he scored, so could go an 8. But I don't know. When I'm thinking of, like, a goal just doesn't get you an 8. Like, you've got to be good all round. Like, he wasn't really
influential. He did set up the chance for Ziyech, like Con said, I guess.
True, but I mean, it wasn't a hard pass.
Well, I've seen easy passes be messed up, so
fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. 8's really high for me.
But it's 8 with a star.
Yeah, all right. I'll let you win then.
I will say this, because of what you said, we look less threatening. I think the whole Chilwell injury took a bit of the sting out of the team and the crowd a little bit. So I think that was partly why. Not just Werner, not just Aspie coming on. I think that slowed us down a little bit. Also, we were 3-0 up. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Aspie, to be honest, the only thing I really noticed of Aspie was when he tried to play a through ball to Mason, but then, kind of misunderstanding. So I'm not really sure what to give Aspie. So I'll ask you guys. Let me go with you first this time, Pice. Aspie, just quickly.
7, I think. Nothing higher than that. Good rating. Got on the ball a few times, but again, looked quite awkward. Not his fault, obviously, he's right-footed, but it's funny, actually, in the press conference, apparently Alonso was actually supposed to come on or something, but Tuchel was so focused on the game that he brought Aspie on or something like that. That's what he said.
What? Because you did see Alonso get ready in the background, and all of a sudden Aspie came.
Yeah, he was like, I hope Alonso don't take this personally, but I was so concentrated on the game, I just wanted Aspie on. But Alonso was supposed to come on or something. Like, it didn't really make much sense what he said, but I don't know.
Fair enough. Yeah. I guess so. Con, what would you make of Aspie? 7? Something you go along with?
Yeah, 7 seems alright.
Fair. Clutch, what about you?
7's fair.
I agree as well. Saul and Mount, how much did they actually get? How many minutes was that left? Like 15 when they came on?
Yeah, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. With Mount, I barely saw him today.
Mount hardly touched the ball. The one time I noticed Mount, he took a really heavy touch and lost the ball. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
I think we give Mount an NA. And I think we give Saul like a 7, bro, because I think he locked it down a little bit. It was decent. I remember him doing a bit,
Yeah, he put a few balls out wide, which was decent a few times down the left-hand side.
Yeah, I agree. I was pretty pleased with Saul, to be honest. No real complaints. I mean, someone said in the chat earlier, which if Chilwell's out injured, maybe play Saul left wing back. Obviously, he has done that actually for Atletico, so
I mean, that's the reason why he was so pissed off at Atletico. So I don't think that would go down well.
Yeah, but if he only plays there because someone's injured, surely he'd be more okay with that.
I don't know. There's a big difference between Spanish football. But to be fair, if it's him or Alonso, I'd rather give Saul a go because.
Alonso will start calling Saul Pewter in Spanish, just taking his spot.
Flip's sake. But yeah, Clutch, would you go along with the 7 for Saul as well?
Yeah, I think what we have on screen is great.
Fair enough. And then to top it off, Mr. Thomas Tuchel, the only small criticism you could have, shouldn't have started Kante, he got injured. But other than that, I think it doesn't really get much more perfect than it did today. So pretty simple 10. Are we all in agreement?
Did you even have to ask?
No. No, I think we're all pretty happy with that 10. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to round it out here. I'm not sure why I'm as tired today as I am. I do apologize if I did lack a little bit of energy towards the end, but what a day. 4-0 against Juventus. I read earlier, the biggest defeat in all competitions since 2004 and their biggest defeat of all time in the Champions League. That is something. Even if it's not super prime Juventus when they made Champions League finals and stuff, they're still a good bloody team. Do you know what I mean? So to beat them 4-0, fantastic. Absolutely brilliant, especially from the few individuals like Reece James, Jorginho, Thiago Silva. Absolutely incredible. Hudson-Odoi as well. Very Chalobah. Very happy with the boys, honestly. Absolutely fantastic. But, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to round it out here. Thank you guys for watching. Check out all of these guys. Links to their Twitters down in the description below. Like I said in the beginning already, help get Con to his 100,000 followers because, in my opinion, he deserves it. So get that done. Subscribe if you haven't already. We still have nearly 300 people watching, which I massively appreciate. So, again, get subscribed. Hit that big red subscribe button. Really means a lot. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers, and every new subscriber counts. And also, smash the like button for me if you haven't already. Let's get to 200 likes because why not? One click of a button, doesn't cost you any money, barely cost you any time. But yeah, we're going to leave it here. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards. What a night. And we'll see you next time.